How can you be healed spiritually this Lent? In 2003, it would have been hard to predict what was about to happen in professional British cycling. Since 1908, British riders had won only one gold medal in the Olympic Games, and in 110 years, they had never won a single Tour de France. Their performance was so mediocre that some top manufacturers refused to sell them gear because they thought it would hurt sales if other pros saw them using it. But that year, they hired Dave Brailsford as a coach. And he had really a simple philosophy. He reasoned that if you can just break down everything involved in riding a bike, and then if you could just make a 1% improvement in each relatively small thing, and you kept doing that, all those gains would end up making a significant impact on the team's success. So they got better seats, put alcohol in the tires for a better grip. They wore electric shorts that kept their muscles at the optimum performance temperature. They even tried different kinds of massage gel. They learned the best way to wash their hands to prevent colds. They got the best pillow and mattress for each rider's sleep. Now, these things, they seem so silly, but the results were spectacular. From 2007 to 2017, British cyclists won 178 world championships, 66 Olympic or Paralympic gold medals, and they captured 5 Tour de France victories. Today, we observe Ash Wednesday. It's the first day of the season of Lent. And I'm asking you, what small change could you make to your daily life that would have a transformational spiritual effect in 40 days? My mission tonight is very simple. It's to offer you a suggestion. The ancient prophet Isaiah writes, "Then your light shall break forth like the dawn, and your healing shall spring up quickly." For 2,000 years, Christians have used this 40 days before Easter to focus on spiritual growth. It's a time just to move more deeply into the life of God. And for that reason, I love Lent. It gives me the chance to take on a spiritual discipline or focus that will change who I am for the better. And some of these things that I've done, they've changed me forever. Usually on this day in church, a priest will put ashes on our forehead and say, "Remember that from dust thou art, to dust thou shalt return." And Ash Wednesday does remind us of our death. And it does so not out of a morbid preoccupation with our finitude, but it is the recognition that nothing other than God will last forever. It's a reminder of just how precious the people, the experiences of this moment are. It is a way of God saying to us, this is your time. So Jesus gives instructions about how to be transformed spiritually. He talks about giving money to the poor, prayer, and fasting. He reminds us to be careful not to ruin the power of our faith by using it for another purpose, for instance, to impress others. He says, whenever you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray so that they may be seen by others. Jesus isn't saying that you should keep your faith a secret, only that we should use our spirituality for its intended purpose. I love the Greek word hypocrite. Back then, it meant just the same thing it does today, a hypocrite, someone without what we call integrity, someone whose actions don't match what they say they believe. But the Greek word also had another meaning. It meant interpreter or actor. Now, make no mistake, we do this kind of acting all the time. We pretend to be something that we're not. We act as if we're competent or smart or desirable or successful. We act as if we're righteous, friendly, normal. Some of us act as if we're perfect. And we do all these things when we're not. So much of what we do comes out of this desire to control how others perceive us. So much of our life is simply pretending. Instead of this acting, Jesus encourages us to be who we really are as children of God. He invites us to return to our true self, to that part of us that doesn't have to be afraid about how others perceive us. One important way that Jesus does this is by reminding us of a truth. He says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Your treasure may be a mansion in Pacific Heights, a prestigious career, a social media following that's huge, a perfect family, or just being happy. And Jesus teaches us to redirect our energies from a focus on accumulating physical things and social standing to spiritual well-being and wholeness. There's a falsehood that nearly all of us live by much of the time. We talk and act as if our outward circumstances are what will really make us happy. We say that we'll be happy after we make the varsity baseball team or get accepted to a prestigious college or after we pass the bar exam or make partner or receive our degree. We say that we'll be happy after we retire. And in doing this, we wish our lives away. In particular, we assume that success will make us happy. The truth, however, is that we were not made to be satisfied by these things. Happiness does not come from outside in. It begins in our heart. And it is only by being in harmony with God that we will ever feel whole. Hoping to derive joy out of success is like trying to put molasses in the gas tank of an automobile designed to run on petroleum fuel. We are made to run on God's Spirit, and nothing else will satisfy us. Now, I know that many of you have the same experience. We know so many people who are successful beyond all imagination, but mostly they're just not any happier than other people. And here's the secret. If happiness is defined as something that is only possible on the other side of success, we never really get there. As soon as we achieve that success, it is almost instantaneously not enough because we're already longing for the next thing. The goalposts are always moving. The sales quotas are always being adjusted. This approach to life teaches us to exist in a universe where joy is always put off and deferred. It is never present to us in the moment. And as a result, it trains us to never be happy. So what can we do? Happiness, or to be more precise, joy, comes from being as fully in God as we can be in the present moment. The secret that no one tells you is that we can fall in love with God. If we can learn to pause and see, we can be in love with the one who is nearer to us than our very selves. Prayer over time teaches me to come back into the presence of the holiness that is our only real hope. When I was a young person, I could have these incredibly transcendental experiences of beauty in an art museum or in a Sierra sunset or in a great cathedral or in a connection with a friend. But the older I get, the more this kind of experience of God is with me through my whole day. So all this brings me back to what I promised at the beginning, when I wondered if you could make a little 1% change that could transform us spiritually. Jesus teaches us to pray in secret. And my suggestion to you for these 40 days is to adopt a simple practice. Every day during this time, pray to God. Every day, thank God for 3 things you are grateful for 3 new things that you noticed about how the Spirit is alive in our world. You might even write them down in a kind of spiritual journal. Brothers and sisters, siblings of all kinds, do not store up your treasures on earth. Leave them behind as you journey inward into the heart of God. Let prayer, let gratitude, let them change your life over the next 40 days. I look forward to hearing about your spiritual adventures. Now, Jude tells me that the practice for this gathering tonight is to have 2 questions to think on. So my 2 questions are simple. The first one is, what are you grateful for? And the second question I have is, have you ever tried a spiritual practice or discipline? Thanks so very much for listening to me, and I look forward to learning more about what your exploration brings you.